back to Alright, what's next? Today we're going to go over chainsaws. Not all chainsaws, there's a lot of them out there. Specifically, just the one that I own. I went ahead and changed out my gas-powered one recently and got me a all-electric one. This is a corded version of the chainsaw. You can get battery-powered ones. I've heard good things about the battery-powered one, but I've never tried one. This is just your Oregon brand 18-inch bar electric chainsaw. It is now currently time to put a new blade on it, and then we can go out and show you how it works. I was pretty skeptical about buying an electric chainsaw, but my gas chainsaw was just being a pain in the ass. It was an 18-inch bar Poulan Pro, I think it was. It was a decent chainsaw. I had it for quite a few years, but with all two-cycle gas engines, if you don't use them all the time and do a lot of maintenance on them when you do need them, they don't run. They're a pain in the ass. The fuel lines freaking collapse and you won't get enough fuel. The carburetors get deposits in them. You got to take carburetors off and you got to clean them. Then you got to deal with the gas and the proper oil mix. You don't get the oil mixed right, then it freaking fouls the plugs. It's one of them things. If you don't use a gas-powered chainsaw every day, don't buy one. If you got to go out and you're out in the trees every day and you're freaking cutting wood to heat your house, yeah, a gas-powered one is going to be what you want. But if you're just your average homeowner that has some trees out in the backyard, once in a while a branch comes down, you got to go out and cut it. Don't piss around with a gas-powered chainsaw. Go buy an electric one. These corded ones are cheap. This was $110 on Amazon. Like I said, when I got it, I wasn't real sure what it was going to be able to handle, but it surprised the shit out of me. A couple of years ago, I had a tree company come in and dropped 4 different trees around the property for me. I got one of them out there that I haven't even touched because it's out in the tree line and you can't see the mess out there, so I'm not too worried about that. The other one is a big pile out there that I ain't messed with. Tree right outside my shop right here, I cut it up with my gas-powered one, got it taken care of. But I had an 80-foot elm over there. Started cleaning it up with my gas-powered chainsaw, and it died on me. And it's like, I didn't want to piss around getting a new carburetor or fuel line or anything like that. So I looked into these electric ones, and since it's only like 50 feet from the shop, I've got a source of electricity. Went ahead and bought it. And I still had about 3/4 of that 80-foot tall tree laying on the ground that needed to be cut up. Started using, and I'm cutting logs that are, oh shit, some of them were like this because I'd have to cut halfway through on this side, cut halfway through on this side, roll it over, finish the cut to get them to go all the way through, and this thing just freaking powered through it. So these electric chainsaws, they are most definitely something I would invest in. Yeah, I can't recommend an electric chainsaw more. I freaking love this thing. For one thing, it's almost half the weight of a gas-powered one. It doesn't make anywhere remotely close to the amount of noise. You don't have to deal with the exhaust fumes. You don't have to deal with the gas and mixing the oil. They don't vibrate anywhere near as much. And because of the less vibration, the less weight, you can cut even longer. Before the gas-powered one, I could cut for about an hour, and then my lower back was just flat killing me. And this one, I could just keep going and going and going. But first thing we got to do, we got to change out this blade. Like I said, it is cut a hell of a lot. I've already got the bar tensioned out pretty much as far as it's going to go. Too much tension left in the chain, and these are what's called a power sharp saw. It comes with a sharpening stone, and it's just not sharpening anymore. So we got to get this old blade off of there. I've never changed this blade, but I guess right here is your adjusting ring and your locking ring. You loosen the locking ring up, and this thing slides your tensioner in and out. And it also removes the faceplate. So you just loosen this red lock ring right here, and then you spin this, and it takes this whole plate off with it. And then that will allow, you can get your blade off. We got the bar right here. We can take the bar off. We can get in here, clean all this crap out. Right here is the Power Sharp sharpening stone. We got to take it off. Looks like flathead. Who the hell uses flathead screws anymore? All right, that stone is out. Let's get the new one. It comes with new screws. I don't know how well you can see that, but see how deep of a groove it's dug in there, so that, yeah, that stone's shot. And there's what the new one looks like. Clean all that shit out of there before you drop your new stone in, so it sits down properly. All right. If you don't know what a Power Sharp is, oh, there's a goddamn board right there. Here's your stone. Your blade goes around there. When you pull the trigger and the blade's turning, you just reach up, you pull on that, and it brings it into contact with the blade. And the blade is a specially designed cutting teeth on there that'll run on this stone right there and put an edge back on them. So within 2 seconds, you got a sharp blade again. I need a little brush that I clean this thing out with. I don't think I got anything. Got a little tiny paintbrush. I just have to throw this away because now it's going to be covered in freaking bar oil. That's another bonus thing. I mean, the lack of chemicals that you have to deal with when you're running an electric. You only have to go and get bar oil. You don't need the freaking 2-cycle oil. But you still got to use the bar oil, so yeah, there is some chemicals involved. I don't know if there's an environmentally friendly version. I never really looked into it. I'm sure there is. And if you're going to make electric freaking tools, I'm sure you're going to have some sort of environmentally friendly oil to go along with it. Getting the teeth to mesh up properly into the drive gears can be a kind of a pain in the ass. Okay, we got the blade back up on there. And for sliding the cover back on, there is a track that bar rides on that's going to keep it in position. So you want to make goddamn sure that it's in that freaking track. Otherwise, your bar is just going to drop. By bar, that's your bar. Okay, and the way you tension that thing, this right here screws your faceplate on, and it locks everything down to where it can't move. And you see how loose it is? To tension your blade, you just crack this loose, and this red ring right here, turn it one way or the other, till you get a nice tension on it. Make sure it's in the groove all the way around, and then you turn the black ring to lock it. Okay. New blade is on there. Make sure the bar is locked in. I think we're good. Let's plug it in and make sure it works. If you're out using it and you notice that your blades the chain's getting sloppy on there, don't tension it right away. Set the saw aside, let it sit for 15-20 minutes to cool off, because you want your blade to be cool, because it will contract as it cools, and it'll actually bring tension back on it. If you do it while it's hot, and then you set the saw down, you can actually snap the blade. All right, let's see if this is going to come off and kill me. Something else I like about the electric is how fast that blade stops. The second you release that trigger, that blade is locked. It's ready to go cut some firewood. I'll take and get everything drug out. While we're out there, I also have another electric yard tool to show you. I've got an electric log splitter. So you can, the green way to pollute the environment with smoke. All right. So this is the type of stuff that this saw is capable of handling. So, these are some pretty good size, and I've even cut ones bigger than that. This is what I've got left that I still have to split up from cutting down that 80-foot freaking elm tree. I'll flip the camera around and show you the stump that's still sticking out of the ground that I haven't removed. That big pile of firewood over there, that's what we split. I'll show you my log splitter and how we got that done. It's a relatively cheap, cost me under $200 for the log splitter, but we'll get back to that later. But this is just to show you what this saw actually can cut. What we're going to cut, you can fucking cut it with a goddamn handsaw, but it's just to show you how quiet it is and how nice they are to freaking use. We're gonna cut up some of this brush right here. All of this shit, this is the stuff that came down out of a freaking tree during that ice storm. Oh, well, shit, while I'm over here, let me show you this stump. Where's it at? It's fucking bright. Okay, yeah, right there. See, that's what's left over of the tree that I cut up with this saw. So you can tell how tall that is. And if you see the horse trailer in the shot there? Okay, there's a horse trailer. So the horse trailer is going to be, about 10 foot tall at the top of that horse trailer. So that stump there is still sticking out of the ground, good 12 to 15 feet. And then from there it went up, it's 80 feet up in the air, so you can imagine how big the branches are, because like the one log laying on the ground over here that my chainsaw's sitting on is part of the lower part of the stump. So this saw got to work out. Yeah, that big log right there was part of the tree that we cut up, and the big log back there. That saw would cut it, but you're gonna spend, friggin' 2 hours on one dab and cut. That's outside the range of its possibility. That's where you're gonna want to get into a big freaking expensive, steel brand freaking gas powered saw with like a friggin' 36-inch freaking bar. I have one of them. I got an 18-inch electric, and we're gonna cut up some freaking brush. We got to get some lubrication first before we start running saws, though. Let's cut this thing up, and then we'll run this, what do you call that? Log splitter, electric log splitter. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I keep mentioning bar and chain oil, and I didn't freaking... This is bar and chain oil. There is a reservoir on that. Right here. If you got a gas-powered one, make sure you use the bar and chain reservoir, not the gas tank, to put your bar and chain oil in. That's an electric. There's only one reservoir on it, so it's hard to fuck it up. This is CAM2 all-season bar and chain high-tack freaking oil. This is hands down by far the absolute best bar and chain oil that was on the shelf at the store when I went in to buy bar and chain oil. In fact, it was the only bar and chain oil on the shelf when I went in. It's bar and chain oil. I don't know if it's freaking the best or not. It's oil. The thing about bar and chain oil is it's sticky. It sticks to the blade and that, so it doesn't come flinging off and you're not covered in freaking oil when you spin it. Put some freaking 5W30 in there and yeah, you're gonna be a mess. All right, let's shut up and cut something. Downfall of these, you gotta drag a goddamn cord around. All right, that pretty much made short work of that freaking pile real quick. If you're gonna use a chainsaw, be mindful of a couple of things. One, never let your blade touch the dirt. The second that blade touches the dirt, it's fucking dull. You pretty much just ruin that freaking edge. You know, be mindful of where the pressure is on the board. Like cutting any boards in your shop on the table saw or whatever thing, if it's got an arc to it, you're gonna have pressure coming across the top. So if you come up from underneath, you can come up, cut through the thing, and it'll fall away from your saw. If you try and cut down through it with an arc in it, as it goes through, it's gonna just bind onto that blade and cause a kickback and get your saw stuck, especially if you're doing a big freaking branch. You know what? Let's play with the log splitter. Show you what that's like. All right, right here is my little electric freaking log splitter. It's just a motor down here, hydraulic cylinder. It's got a ram right here, goes forward, goes up against this little freaking finger cutter offer piece up on the front there. You got a button here that you have to hold down with one hand, and a lever over here you have to hold down with the other hand. So if you're tricky, you can use your knee to run this one so you can keep your hand up here on the finger cutter offer part of it. Now this is just a 5-ton log splitter. This is great for, you know, going out in the backyard. If you had a big tree branch come down, you want to split it up to cut firewood for your fire pit out behind the house. If you're trying to do this shit to either make money or to heat your house all freaking winter long, go buy a big freaking one, because this one works good, but it is a pain, and you got to kind of cut the board smaller than what they'd call a stove length, which is like 16 inches. This seems to be about 12 inches is about as best as it really wants to handle. Now this stuff, I haven't split this in a while, so it should split easier, because last time I split it, it was still relatively green. This has had another season to dry, so this shit should actually split pretty easy. So let's get it plugged in and we'll give it a try. Now with this, what you got to be mindful of is your side to side. My camera might be in the danger zone. I don't think it is. I think I'm gonna turn this just a little bit like that, because sometimes when you split it, it'll go through and be pushing and pushing, and then that log will split and it'll just blow apart and go flying. It's pretty cool. It'll it'll leave some nice bruises on your shins and that. So let's throw a log in here and give her a try. We'll start with this little baby log right here. This doesn't need to be split, but we're going to split it anyways. So there's a button over here. You hear that? That turns the freaking motor on, and this runs the ram. There, now you got firewood. Let's try something a little bit bigger. Now I found when you use this, you want to look at your grain, look for cracks in it. Like right here is a good crack that we can use as our starting point. Take and set it over here on the finger cutter offer portion and get that crack lined up and then run the ram into it. There. Set it up on there again. Got some good pieces of freaking firewood going on there. We'll go ahead and split this guy right down the middle. Let's try a bigger one. All right, this is probably way more than this thing's designed to handle. And this is actually easier if you got two people because somebody can balance this big bastard. Look at that shit. Okay, put my knee up here, hold it in place. I'm gonna split that guy one more time. Yeah, see how sometimes them things will just blow apart? That was kind of minor. It does a lot worse when they're green, I think, because it'll be under a lot more tension before it'll finally pop. Now, like I said, not your best buy if you're trying to freaking make a living off of freaking selling firewood or heating your house. But for somebody who just wants to run a burn pit in their backyard and you got some logs to split up, I think $200 about all one of these. You can get them from Harbor Freight. I got this from Menards. I know you've probably heard me mention Menards about 7,000 times because they take all my money. But But this was a discontinued model off the shelf, so I think I got it for 180 bucks because it wasn't in the box anymore, and they're no longer manufacturing this particular model anymore. But it can get a lot of shit done, especially if you've got two people running it. One just running the freaking controls, another feeding freaking logs into it. A third is nice to pick up all the shit that's freaking going, and you can split logs fast. Let me show you this pile here. Okay, that's a considerably smaller pile than what it was, as I actually sold a pickup load of it. Got 100 bucks out of it. I'm hoping to sell some more of it, because if I can get a total of $300 out of my firewood, then it's paid for the saw and it's paid for the log splitter, and then I'm back to square one, and maybe I'll use my burn pit. I never use my burn pit. I don't stay up that freaking late. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, so staying up late enough to have a bonfire at night, and it's just, it ain't gonna fucking happen. But anyways, that is once again your environmentally friendly way to pollute the environment with smoke. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe. Notifications. See you next time.